The Institute of Plant Science and Resources, Okayama University. Kurashiki City in Okayama Prefecture is the location of the Institute of Plant Science and Resources, or IPSR. Okayama flourished in the Edo period as one of the shogun's domain, vestiges of which can still be unmistakably seen in the aesthetic area located in the central region. Strategically placed as a waypoint for West Japan, with the bullet train running from east to west, and the Seto Ohashi Bridge connecting the main island and Shikoku, commerce, industry, medicine, and culture have continued to expand in the area, which has developed into a cosmopolitan city visited by many domestic and foreign tourists. The Seto Inland Sea to the south of Kurashiki City generates warm weather similar to that of an Etesian climate. The high level of sunny intervals and relatively low amounts of rain are exploited for the cultivation of various crops, and in particular, fruit. Okayama University's Institute of Plant Science and Resources is located in the central region of this naturally blessed city of Kurashiki. The Institute of Plant Science and Resources was initially founded by one of Kurashiki's most prominent businessmen, Mago Saburo Ohara, some 100 years ago in 1914, as the Ohara Institute for Agricultural Research. Along with being an outstanding man of economics, Mago Saburo Ohara also left his mark in the realms of culture and welfare by establishing the Ohara Museum of Art, the first domestic museum to collect and exhibit Western artworks. He also established Japan's first orphanage. Similarly, Mago Saburo Ohara established the Institute as a means of advancing farmers' welfare through improved agricultural practices and scientific research. The Institute, which was founded at a time when agricultural research in Japan was limited to 2 universities, was immediately under the spotlight as a cutting-edge facility. The researchers at that time successfully laid the foundations for Okayama's present status as a major fruit-producing region. Founding Chief Dr. Mantaro Kondo's extensive collection of scientific papers and his work on wild plant seeds continue to provide vital inspiration for today's researchers. After World War II, the Institute became affiliated with Okayama University, a university that is representative of the Chugoku and Shikoku regions. It has gone on to produce a wealth of useful research findings in the field of agricultural science. At present, the Institute publishes close to 100 research papers a year. The Institute has expanded and participates in many international joint research projects.
私どもの研究所は大正3年1914年に大原孫三郎氏によって設立されました。1世紀を超える歴史の中で我が国の農業科学の礎を築いた数多くの偉人を輩出してきました。研究所の創設時の理念は深遠なる学理を研究し、これが実際的応用による農事の改善ですが、100年以上経った今もこの理念を受け継いでおります。私どもの研究所は2010年に文部科学省より全国共同研究・共同利用の拠点として認定されました。それ以来、植物ストレス科学研究と植物遺伝資源を2つの柱として世界トップレベルの研究を展開しております。またこれまで全国の大学・研究機関と幅広く共同研究を実施してまいりました。大学院教育にも力を入れております。これまで日本全国はもとより世界各国から優秀な大学院生が倉敷に集い、 多くの優れた人材を育ててまいりました。
The Institute of Plant Science and Resources, IPSR, consists of the Research Core for Plant Stress Science, the Barley and Wild Plant Resource Center, and the Research Core for Future Crops. The Research Core for Plant Stress Science has 3 research units: atmospheric stress, soil stress, and biotic stress. The Barley and Wild Plant Resource Center is composed of 2 units: genetic resources and applied genomics. At the Institute, there are some 100 researchers, staff members, and postgrad students. In addition, there are many domestic and international collaborative researchers using our laboratories. The facility occupies an area of 38,000 square meters. Our spacious 1.5-hectare plot of farmland, located in an urban area, cultivates and researches barley, rice, and other seasonal crops. Next to the farm, there are isolated greenhouse facilities and the latest solar-powered, energy-saving recombinant plant cultivation equipment that facilitates stable, year-round cultivation experiments. Each research unit is free to use the Institute's ample facilities to conduct world-class research in collaboration with domestic and international researchers. Moreover, leading-edge analytical devices have been extensively introduced, and expert technicians are on hand to provide assistance. At the Atmospheric Stress Unit, our research is mainly regarding response to environmental stress experienced by a plant's above-ground parts. The above-ground part of a plant is exposed to stresses that interfere with development, such as changes in day length and the transition of the seasons on Earth. In addition, there are the extreme environment of space, strong light, ultraviolet light, radiation, high and low temperatures, dryness, and changes in gravity. In research to date, we've come to understand that plants respond to these environmental stresses and adapt. At our unit, we attempt to find out the effects that environmental stresses have on a plant and how the plant responds and adapts to them. We employ the latest molecular genetics approaches using model plants, experimental techniques, and research devices. Using this knowledge, we can expect to create crops that provide a stable harvest even in poor environments. There are issues with the nearly 70% of the world's arable land, such as acidic soil, alkaline soil, polluted soil, saline soil, and arid land. Crops' productivity is declining for reasons such as a lack of minerals and water and excesses of harmful elements. At the Soil Stress Unit, we focus on such soil environmental stresses and their relationship with the plant. We aim to improve productivity by breeding crops that can resist stresses of problematic soil and developing cultivation techniques through researching the mechanism that plants use to carry minerals and water at the genetic, cellular, and individual levels. At our unit up to the present, we have discovered the tolerance mechanism to the toxicity of aluminum ions, which is a significant issue with acidic soil. The system that absorbs and transports silicon, which strengthens a rice plant's stress resistance, and the diverse functions of water transporters. Among plants, various organisms live in symbiosis or in parasitism. Amongst these, disease-causing microorganisms such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, and the feeding damage of insects are a threat to the crops. However, plants are not defenseless against pathogens and pests. They have their own defense systems that they use to resist those enemies. That's why we at the Biotic Stress Unit are working on the discovery of the molecular mechanism related to the recognition and response to pathogens and pests that forms the foundation of a plant's defense system. However, many kinds of bacteria and fungi exist that enhance a plant's growth or contribute to its tolerance to stress. Also, viruses that could be used as agents to control pathogens, pests, or harmful algae have been found. That's where we conduct our research, in this diverse interaction between beneficial microbes and plants or host organisms. At the Biotic Stress Unit, we aim to raise healthy crops and contribute to food safety and security through these researches. Barley is one of the 4 major cereals and the oldest crop that humanity has cultivated. At the Genetic Resources Unit, we store 15,000 genetic resources of barley, one of few stores of such scale in the world. We provide the barley resources that are gathered around the world to domestic and international researchers and deliver the characteristics of the collection to the public with our database. At the same time, we have developed an efficient research platform through decoding the genome sequence. We aim to develop technologies to solve issues related to food security and global warming. There is said to be 300,000 varieties of land-based plants growing on Earth. One of the biggest reasons for the birth of such diversity is the variety of habitats that plants adapt to and evolve in. At the Genetic Resources Unit, using herbarium specimens and approximately 4,000 frozen seeds, we aim to make clear the relationship between organisms and the environment through unraveling the history of evolution contained in the genome of wild plants. We also aim to understand the system by which the Earth's diverse organisms were created and have been maintained. At the Applied Genomics Unit, we discover the functions of genes that contribute to improvements in productivity in crops and develop techniques to improve the efficiency of breeding. At our unit, we have discovered the function of the genes that determine whether the hull will remain fixed to the seed even after threshing, forming hulled barley, or come off cleanly to form naked barley. We aim to discover the functions of and find the genes that determine the shape or color of the plant, such as the pointed protrusion, the beard of the head of a grain spike, or the color of the seed. At the Applied Genomics Unit, we are developing methods to efficiently find genes that increase yields or improve a plant's resistance to environmental stress from the diverse rice plant genetic resources cultivated in Asia and Africa. In addition, we are analyzing the dynamic changes that occur in the nucleus at the molecular level, focusing on the chromosomes necessary for the correct transmission of genetic information to daughter cells and offspring. The Research Core for Future Crops is a research core where the fundamental research for new crop development is conducted utilizing our Institute's genetic resources and the knowledge of plant stress science. At our research core, fluid research project teams with cross-appointed staff and staff with plant stress science join together without being held back by existing research groups. This diverse range of research is backed up by the Institute of Plant Science and Resources Branch Library, Okayama University. This outstanding agricultural library, which was established 7 years after the Ohara Institute for Agricultural Research in 1921, has one of Japan's best collections of valuable books and historical documents regarding the Institute and agriculture. The library also offers the latest academic information, including electronic journals, various databases, numerous academic journals, and specialized resources. The branch library utilizes these resources to support and contribute to research at IPSR and Okayama University. Okayama University Institute of Plant Sciences and Resources was recognized as a Center for Plant Genetic Resources and Stress Science by the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports Science and Technology in June 2009, and is also active as a joint use and joint research center for agricultural science. The Institute offers research grants to researchers working at domestic universities, government research organizations, and testing bodies conducting research on plant genetic resources and plant stress science. Some 40 to 50 research proposals are selected each year, with many producing outstanding results. At our Research Institute, we have the latest equipment and experimental fields, and our researchers and technicians offer support in their use. Also, an environment has been prepared that fully backs joint use and joint research with accommodation on the premises. The Institute of Plant Science and Resources plays a part in graduate education through work with the Graduate School of Environmental, Life, Natural Science and Technology at Okayama University. Both master's and doctoral students utilize the latest facilities, plentiful research materials, and a vast collection of valuable documents offered by diverse research groups to help them concentrate on research and getting results. A defining characteristic of the Institute is its large number of frontline staff and researchers that allows us to provide almost one-on-one guidance for graduate students.
共に頑張っている仲間がいるのですごく刺激的に感じます。日々、集中して研究することもできますし、今まで行っていなかったような研究分野、新しい実験内容も勉強できることができて、幅広い視野を持つことができるようになりました。
Graduate students can enjoy the rich international atmosphere of IPSR created by postdoctoral researchers and graduate students from around the world.
I've found out that this place is much like an home, like from students up to technical staff and the lecturers. I've found out that they're very, very friendly and they're very outgoing, and in that they make my life very, very easier, not only in my academic life but also in my non-academic life here in this institute.
Furthermore, we are regularly visited by researchers active on the forefront of science. The chance to listen to seminars and exchange ideas with first-class researchers is another feature of IPSR. It's been a century since the Institute of Plant Science and Resources' foundation. Our long history wouldn't have been possible without support from the local community. At present, IPSR gives back to the local community by applying its accumulated research know-how to science education and social action work. The Institute of Plant Science and Resources will continue to walk hand in hand with the local community, with a firm eye on nurturing the next generation of researchers.
今日の地球規模の気候変動により、作物は厳しい生育環境にさらされています。土壌の酸性化や干ばつ、洪水、農地の重金属汚染、高温や低温など、さまざまなストレスが作物の生産を脅かしています。また世界の人口増加に伴う食料不足も大きな問題となっております。これら諸問題の解決に向け、植物科学の研究がますます重要になっています。そのため我々は研究所の豊富な遺伝資源と一流の研究設備を活用して、国内外の研究機関との連携強化を図りながら、当研究所ならではの独創性の高い研究成果を創出してまいります。
By understanding plants, we sow the seeds of tomorrow. The Institute of Plant Science and Resources, Okayama University, will continue to fulfill its mission of contributing to human society as a world-leading center of research and discovery.